Sometimes your own children will cause you to have to say that you just couldn't help yourself. Sometimes husbands and wives will have to admit that they just couldn't help themselves. Sometimes the preacher and sometimes the deacons will admit that they just couldn't help themselves. Sometimes the choir and the ushers just have to admit, and the missionaries have to say they just couldn't help themselves. No need of trying to be holier than thou. We might as well be real. All of us at one time or another had to admit that we just couldn't help ourselves. Can I get a witness? A compulsive gambler is completely controlled by the desire to gamble. And it makes no difference about his or her family, his or her job or career. For all they have to, they want to take that second chance, and they put God second place. Can I get a witness? And they put everything else on the line because they can't help themselves. Yeah, the kleptomaniac is a compulsive thief, and they do not steal for a living or to gain profits. They just steal because they can't help themselves. There are people who have lost complete control of their lives to forces beyond their control. Can I get a witness? Yeah, drugs have destroyed whole families as the victims soon come to believe that drugs are more important than food and will rob, steal, and even kill for another thrill. Can I get a witness? Well, as Christians, we must always remind ourselves that it is best to avoid the temptations of flirting with dangerous compulsions, for they may soon take first place in our lives. Can I get a witness? But we must remain committed to give our lives to Jesus Christ and look ever to Jesus, for he will carry you through. And this is why Paul had to write to the Romans about their relationship to the Mosaic law to his life as a Christian. And Paul told the Romans that the law served this purpose of showing him what his sins were. However, it lacked the power to deliver him from the penalties of sin. For Paul even says that sin is powerful than the law itself, and that it can even be more powerful than the man who was a slave to sin. Can I get a witness? In other words, what Paul was saying is that there is a force in the world that is more powerful than any man or woman can handle and can make them do wrong, even when they want to do right. Can I get a witness? Well, I hear Paul saying when we don't work, when we don't do what we should, and things that we hate we do, then we will have to admit that I can't help myself. Moreover, we do things we do not intend to do. We are possessed for a moment. We are possessed for a day, or maybe a week by the power of sin. Can I get a witness? But I heard Paul say, it's no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. Can I get a witness? And that the will to do right is present with me. But the power to do right is just not present. Can I get a witness? Yeah, I heard Paul say that the good things that I want to do, I don't do them. Can I get a witness? The evil things that I do not want to do, I find myself doing them anyway. Is that right? In other words, what Paul was saying here was that I can't help myself. And I'm going to call the roll of many in the Bible who just couldn't help themselves. Well, there was a rich farmer who tore down his barns to build larger ones. And he was told, what profited a man to gain the whole world and then lose his soul? But the rich man just couldn't help himself. Oh, yeah. Can I get a witness? You remember David, who was so hooked on Bathsheba, when he looked out of his window and saw her taking a bath, that he just had to have her on a full-time basis, even if it meant killing a husband who to commit adultery. Can I get a witness? But if David was here today, he would tell you that before he got saved, he just couldn't help himself. Can I get a witness? You remember the rich man, ruler, who was told by Jesus to go and sell all that he had when he wanted the kingdom of heaven, but instead he loved his possessions more than he turned down the chance to be in glory for a fistful of dollars. Can I get a witness? And he would have to tell you that he just couldn't help himself. Can I get a witness here? You remember the story of Ananias and Sapphira, who wanted to praise the men so bad that they lied about what they gave to the church. Can I get a witness here? And because of the riot to the Holy Ghost, they lost their souls because they just couldn't help themselves. Can I get a witness here? Well, anybody wants eternal damnation, just lie to the Holy Ghost. That's blasphemy. Can I get a witness? In fact, that's a sin that the Lord won't forgive. Can I get a witness? And you remember Samson, who was so powerful, man of God, who could take two foxes together by their tails and beat an army of Philistines with a jawbone of a donkey, and they carried the gates of the cities on his shoulders. Can I get a witness? But when he met Delilah, he met his downfall and ended up giving up the secret of his strength because he just couldn't help himself. Can I get a witness here? And she used her power, she used her advantage. Can I get a witness? And as a result, he was captured and his eyes were put out. Can I get a witness? But God, being the God that he is, allowed him to have the greatest victory in his death when he killed more than ever man that he ever did in his lifetime. Can I get a witness? I heard the Apostle Paul saying, when you just can't help yourself, you're miserable and you feel wretched because you're doing things you don't want to do. Can I get a witness? And you're going places you don't want to go, and you're drinking things you don't want to drink. Can I get a witness? You're even saying things that you don't want to say. Can I get a witness? And if you're a Christian and a showman child of God, it ought to make you feel uncomfortable when you get into this type of situation. Can I get a witness? And I heard Paul saying, oh, wretched man, there I am. Who shall deliver me? Can I get a witness here? And church, I